For more on this, we're joined by Cornelia Meyer in Baku. She's an economist and commodity expert and CEO at Meyer Resources. Welcome back, Cornelia. Now, oil prices are already tumbling towards $80 a barrel. How much further could they drop once the Strait of Hormuz fully reopens?
Well, we see the typical exuberance that we saw after every statement which said that the war would soon be over. Oil prices went down, so they can go further down. I would say the longish run or medium run, 80 is probably a floor. And you know, it's not as easy as it looks. You open the strait and oil will flow. Yes, some oil will flow. There's some oil in storage also across the region. But the problem is that a lot of the fields had to be shut in. And for some of them, they can come on quickly. Others, they will take time. And I've just spoken to somebody in Kuwait who said it will take about 3 months until the fields are up and running. So we have to see. And as you rightly said, we will see tankers leave the Strait of Hormuz. The question is how many will go in? And that depends on the agreement and how insurance companies react to it.
So how long could it potentially take for global crude to return to full pre-war capacity?
Full pre-war capacity, I say we have to give it a good 3, 4, maybe 5 months. And it's not just crude, right? It's also LNG. And LNG will not be up to pre-war capacity from the Gulf because 17% were taken out from Qatar, as were the expansion construction they had started. So that will be that. And we don't quite know yet, and I have different and conflicting news on how much, or information on how much actually production capacity was hit by the war. So we will have to see how that goes in. But again, the most important thing is we will see ships leave, and we have some oil in storage. But the most important thing is how many ships will go in? How will insurance companies react?
Now, Iran has warned that a lasting truce is yet to take shape. So what's the biggest threat that could potentially break this before Friday?
Well, I think we have to look very closely at what happens in Lebanon, because Iran feels that Lebanon is clearly part and parcel of the deal. And we have a third party in there, Israel, and we don't quite know how they will react. So that's one thing. Then there's a lot of things, there are a lot of details. We don't know what was really negotiated in detail. And that's also, how much of the frozen assets will be released and all of those things. We don't know. So there's still glitches that could occur. But let me tell you, this is really lastminute.com. This is the last moment that something like this could happen, because when I look at the global inventories, be they, strategic petroleum reserves or other national or private inventories, they're nearing tank bottom. So by about beginning of August, there would have been no other crude coming in. And there will be big demand because people will now fill up these inventories again. And also China, that has used a lot of its inventories, will want to fill that up again. So there will be huge demand for crude.
And will the reopening of the strait allow Iran to rebuild its oil infrastructure?
Well, we will see what is happening. Part of it, yes, but we also need to see, will there be assets unfrozen? Because obviously it costs money to do those things. So we will see what happens there.
Cornelia Meyer, economist and commodity expert in Baku, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed, Iber.